Look who it is. Lovely to have you.
Hi, it's great to be here.
Gonna run the logo thing and then we'll start the show. Now, you're already a local celebrity around the Reveel'd community. You've got a couple projects on there, not just one, but two. But first and foremost, I want to talk about Shank's Reign because this I direct music videos, I direct films, and this is both at the same time,
Yeah.
which I really love. You don't see a lot of the sort of hybrid shorts, like short film music video. Obviously, there's Michael Jackson's Thriller. There's a long history of them,
Mhm.
but you don't see it much in the indie world because it's a much bigger production. It takes a lot more to put together.
Mhm.
Do you mind telling us first off a little bit about what the short film music video, what the plot is about, and the character that you play?
Yeah, so Shank's Reign, it is a love story about Shank and his ex-girlfriend. And basically, we just get to go on a journey of a couple that believe that they were destined to be together, but we get to experience their past experiences with them and see how it kind of led to the downfall of their relationship. And on Shank's Reign, I played Nicole, his then girlfriend at the time, and it was a great experience being able to mix a hybrid of a short film slash music video and get to see both sides come together. So it was really great to be able to be a part of that project.
So much of this in your performance is in the subtext and the subtleties. One, because the music video portions, you don't have dialogue. That's one thing I always admire in narrative storytelling and music videos is you have to be able to communicate the emotion and the thoughts and things that you would normally say with words without them. What's that like, and what's the process like versus a traditional narrative film? How do you go about making sure that you get that performance that connects to the audience without words?
It's actually crazy because Jonathan had me a part of a project that was like that before with him in the
Mm-hmm.
past. And that was my first time doing something like that. So when this project came about and I noticed there was less dialogue, I was like, okay, I'm going back right into that mode of, you pretty much have to focus on telling the emotion with your eyes and with your face and just really being able to be fully present as an actor in the story. If somebody else is singing or if they're talking to you and you don't really have as much dialogue, you really just want to be completely present and be able to tell the story through your emotions.
So Jonathan Rowan, we've had him on the show before. I love his work. I love seeing more and more of his work pop up on Reveals. That's why it's so great to talk to you today. When this video has a lot to do. I like to try to stay away from too much spoilers, but there's a lot of flashbacks and there's some definite sort of misdirections and twists and turns that you don't see coming. That's a lot scripting wise to make sure that it's all going to come together and work for the audience the same way it does on paper, the same way it does as a concept. Are you sort of you're shooting things at in the continuities all over the place? Do you just at that point have to sort of fully trust in Jonathan and the director's vision that it's all gonna come together?
Oh, completely. Because for film, the same thing with music videos, things are shot sometimes out of order. And
Mm-hmm.
you just have to really be present in the scene that you're in and just really remember the story, remember your character, and just trust that the director is going to guide you through that story, especially if you don't have any dialogue, because you really have to just feel the emotion and feel the scene itself and just really be there and be able to let your emotions come through, even if you're all over the place or shooting at different times of the day, different scenes, different
Mm-hmm.
orders. You just have to really just listen to the director and let him guide you through that scene.
And
And
you
he
you
does.
obviously you were able to hear the song before you came to set and you were familiar with it
I believe I actually heard it on set for the
for
first
the
time.
first time.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
I often wonder that with actors if they're going into a music video situation, if they've heard the song or if it's just sort of like any other acting gig where it's show up and learn as you go. I guess it's interesting because unlike a traditional film where the music gets put in later, you sort of get to build some of your emotions and characteristics. You're like, oh, the film score is here playing behind me while I act versus
Yes,
just the absolute
exactly.
silence and wondering what a composer will do later. So that's got to be a different workflow as well.
Yeah, we did a run through just to kind of block it with all of
Mm-hmm.
the actors together for the first time when we were meeting. And we heard the song for the first time. And so it was during one of the scenes. I don't want to reveal too much, but it was one of the flashback scenes. And we were just, I didn't know the song. So when I was there, it really helped me just kind of go in naturally with my emotion, because just being there in that moment and seeing his expression and how he felt just really made me be able to be like, okay, like this is where we're at right now in the relationship and the story. And you're just letting everything just naturally come forward rather than just feeling like you were rehearsing it too much. It was more so just be there now and just let it happen.
It's a really interesting format too, because sometimes you get the I'll use Thriller as an example again, arguably the best music video ever made, but it starts as a short film, then you get the music video, then there's this dance breakdown, then it goes back to the music video, the song, and then into this little tail end movie.
Mm-hmm.
This is interesting because like at first it starts and I'm like, oh, I'm watching a short. I didn't even realize it had this music video element to it. So it's a really great interesting twist when that happens, and then you really don't know when it's going to kind of dip in and out of it as it goes. And I thought that was really interesting. It's beautifully shot. It's got a very sort of surreal element to it, and I thought all the flashbacks worked really well to kind of like, there is that like at the end you're like, oh damn, this is what's happening. This is like so well crafted and put together. Again, in the interest, everyone should go to reveal.net. It's free to sign up. Watch this video that we're talking about, but it does say to be continued at the end. Are there plans in the works? Is there anything you can or cannot say about what's coming?
I will say that if you want to see what might come next, just keep up with us on social media and you'll find out.
And hopefully we'll get that on Reveal as well, so that the audience can see it. You can't have a cliffhanger like that and not deliver. But now I'm curious if it's one more song or two more songs. Is it a trilogy? Is this going to be his what was that song? Trapped in the Closet by R. Kelly? Are there going to be 47 parts to this? Is it going to keep going for decades?
Who knows?
Who knows? I mean, I think you do, but we won't. It's like Marvel spoilers. We won't force you to say anything that you shouldn't. How did you get interested in acting? Where did you start your acting career?
Kindergarten.
Oh, wow.
It's something that I have wanted to do my entire life. Like it was just something that you just naturally feel like when your parents just have the cameras at home and doing the home videos and they just are recording you, it just feels natural. And when you have your first opportunity to do a play, like for me, it was in kindergarten, and it was just like, this is what I want to do. Like, this is what I got to keep doing. And I just kept following it through elementary school, middle school, high school with like theater classes, audio video production classes, doing plays like outside of school. And then I went to film school at San Diego State and studied television, film, media, pre-major over there. And then I transferred when I moved to LA to Columbia College Hollywood and really started to focus on acting a little bit more over there, because in film school, they want you to learn every aspect so that you can choose. If you have an interest in something else, you may not find that until you try it. But for me, this was it. And that's where I met Jonathan, was when I was going to film school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a few years.
There you go. I didn't go to film school. So I always tell people, I'm like, listen, you can learn to make films without it. But what I think I missed out on is the opportunity to meet like-minded creatives and get those working relationships started while you're still in school before you go into the real world.
Yeah, it does. Film school really helps you meet people that are around your age or just around your age bracket. And you just get to meet a lot of people that you can work with. And sometimes in your school, you'll meet people outside of your school that are just locals in your community that you could branch off with and have lifelong friends with. Like, I have some of the same friends that I met in film school years ago that we're still working on projects to this day. So
I have very few friends still from like early childhood, high school, and other things. Most of my friends are just like, it's one of the things I've always loved about this career is you're constantly forced to meet new people and experience other people's points of view and get to just I have such a huge extended family of actors and film crew people that I love dearly. And it makes traveling so much more fun because the more you work in other states and cities, you always have people to visit as you go. And it's, I love making films, but second best to that is just making friends sort of all over the world.
Yeah, I know it's great. It's a great experience to be able to travel just even to different cities in the state that you live in. And if you're
Hmm.
going to a state you've never been to before, you get to go and it's not as scary because you have people that you're working with and you have a purpose for being there. And you just get to share your art and do what you love with people that you end up building really great friendships with. So it's a really wonderful experience being able to be on a film set, whether it's music or the acting side, film site, TV show, whatever it is, just the whole creative process is it's a really great. They say it's a small town, but
Yeah.
you still always meet new people.
Very true. Well, there's especially a town like Hollywood, there's a
Yeah.
new influx of people constantly. So you're never going to run out of new people to meet, right?
Yeah.
There's
Someone's always getting in the door someday, and you just
Mhm.
never know if that relationship ends up lasting for your whole career.
There's also, as we move forward, Reveal included, there's so many more outlets to put your work. So therefore, there's more content needed than ever before. So more people are getting an opportunity to create, and there's more. There's way more. There's going to be way more auditions now than there were 10 years ago because there's just so much more content being created, and
Mm-hmm.
that's super exciting. That we're kind of in this Wild West phase of there's just anyone can do it. If you have an iPhone and you have a laptop and you have a YouTube account, you are a filmmaker in a studio and a broadcast. You can do it all. You just have to want to do it, which is really exciting. Working behind the camera, like going to film school, did that open your eyes up a lot to the acting side of things, of like just understanding better as a performer, like, oh, okay, these are the technical things they're talking about when they talk behind the camera, or like this kind of lens captures this sort of emotion. Did that help you as an actor?
Yeah, it definitely did. Because when you're on set, sometimes as actors, the term hurry up and wait, you get there and you may not be starting right away. So just being able to be a part of the process that isn't just in front of the camera, but behind, and when you're setting everything up and getting things ready, you kind of have an understanding of how the set works as a whole. So it does make you a little bit more understanding of everybody's position. And it helps you just kind of have a little bit more respect for everybody because it is everybody's job is equally just as hard, and we all have a lot of work that we have to do, and we're all constantly running around on set and doing something. So it definitely helps you just really have a respect for the creative process and not just what you do as an actor.
Now, are you also currently producing work for yourself or looking at doing that down the road?
Yeah, I am. I actually do shoot videography on the site as well and
Okay.
edit my projects as well. I've done a few behind the scenes videos for two different musicians. One is
Hmm.
Keimani. I did one for his music video called The Way, and together I shot and edited a behind the scenes video for him. And for Disney Channel's Isaac Ryan Brown, I shot four of his behind the scenes videos for BFF, Vibes, Win It featuring Raven Simone, and for Inch Away, which was we just did that recently back in February this year, and that just came out in June. So I've been doing just different projects like that on the side, just so I can kind of show my eye through the camera and how I
Hmm.
need to edit projects, and just the way I like shooting projects from behind the scenes because it really gets to show the audience how the project was made and what the experience was like on set.
And each project has its own story to tell. There's always a narrative within it. So my background is not just music videos, but I used to shoot tour videos for bands or documentaries about the making of albums when those round disc DVD things were a thing that you'd sell documentaries and concert videos on. So very much the same. It was like you're sort of, it's almost like building a story in the edits because you're just there capturing things as they happen. You're almost like the
Yeah,
fly in the wall. You're not disturbing anything, but in the editing process, yeah, you become a director to tell this whole they created this thing, but then there's this whole separate story about the triumphs and challenges and personalities and everything, and the passion. Usually always trying to highlight the passion of what went in to make this thing. It's never easy, and I think it
yeah,
gets overlooked because the average person just says, oh, I like that thing. They'll never know how much sort of blood, sweat, and tears went into the behind the scenes.
exactly. That's my favorite part about shooting it is that people, even the director, they don't know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
capturing. So they're just there focused on what they're supposed to be doing, directing the scene and getting what they need. But then they have this whole other side and they're like, oh wow, like this is what it was really like on set. And it gives everybody a chance to relive it, but from a perspective of, instead of just like, okay, like this was a really long day or this was a long process, they get to see it from a perspective of, oh, we actually did have a really great time and we all worked really well together. So I love that part of it, just showing the experience of it and how everybody pulled it together. Like, wow, like we really did that. Like, it's so great.
I love the behind the scenes sometimes too, because I think I like to educate other filmmakers. If there's anything I can offer to somebody younger coming up, like it's the easiest thing. So the behind the scenes, a lot of what I do doesn't have an ideal budget at all, barely has a budget, but that's never stopped my team from going out and making the short or making the feature even, or the music video. And I think the behind the scenes are really important to show that, like, often what looks amazing on camera is sometimes the simplest techniques.
Yeah.
You know, you go like, oh, I want it to be raining outside. Well, all you need is a drizzle of rain in front of the lens and the person's hair to be wet and maybe the street behind them. You don't have to have some sort of rain machine that's dumping on the entire city block. You know, just as an example, I think behind the scenes can also be inspiring to other people coming up in film, or artists looking to make their next music video, being like, oh, if we do it like that, we can save a lot of money and still get the same effect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we actually, something like what you were mentioning, we had a shot in Keimani's music video for Together. There was a scene where you see the camera just kind of, it almost looks like a dolly just going around the two main characters of the video. And it just looks like, oh, like maybe this is like a really fast moving dolly. But in reality, when you see the behind the scenes, you see they ran out into the middle of the streets in Venice. And they were just in the middle of the intersection when no traffic was coming. And the director and his AC the director and the DP, they were just running around him and just keeping him stable so that he could get a really nice, smooth shot. But it's something that you just don't think about when you're watching it. Like, how did they do that? It's like, well, we ran into the middle of the street to do it.
Yeah, and that's half of it. The spirit is just that guerrilla filmmaking spirit of just go out and get it done, no matter what. Like, you know, sure you're technically breaking a few permit laws or whatever it is, but like, if that 1 minute of your life or whatever is going to change the entire dynamic of the video, you kind of have to do it. You know, you can break a few rules along the way.
Yeah. So we had a saying in film school, anything to get the shot.
Yeah, anything, you know, without harming other people or causing other people to go to jail, ideally, yes.
Ideally, that's the
but
plan.
up to and including getting arrested for it, that's okay. Just nobody should have to do any prison time for making movies, especially your movie. No one else should go to jail for you. And last question, you've also worked with Jonathan on Beauty Mark that is on Reveel'd. Yeah. So tell us a bit about maybe a fun story or something from the making of that film.
Oh my goodness, that project. It was a great project. I had a really nice experience working on set. It was definitely my first time working on a project that had such a heavy message and tone to it. Mm-hmm. I was a little bit newer with doing short films at the time, so it was something that I was just kind of really getting myself into. But I think one of the most fun scenes that we had was one of the scenes that we were dancing on the set. And we were on stage, just everybody, all the girls were kind of linked with their arms together and dancing together as best friends. And they had the guys behind them that we didn't really know that well that were just kind of trying to push up on us. We were just kind of like trying to my character was kind of a little bougie. So she was just kind of like brushing them off like she didn't really see them. But that one was kind of fun. Everybody was just having fun dancing on set. And we didn't have any music. So we were all kind of going on our own beats.
Yeah. There wasn't somebody standing up to the side of the camera saying 1, 2, 3, 4 to keep a rhythm.
Yeah, somebody just trying to make a little bit of a rhythm going on. But it was fun. It definitely was towards the beginning of shooting the film. So it got everybody a little bit more loose and just excited for the project.
Awesome. Well, everybody out there, you have to check out Shanks Rain and Beauty Mark on Reveel'd. Again, it's reveal.net. It's 100% free. You don't need a credit card. And you get to add this fantastic library of short films, features, documentaries, music videos, the hybrid of short film and music video. There's all sorts of stuff out there. And you'll see our guest here today in so much of it. And just hopefully there's more, and hopefully some of the content that you're creating will eventually be on Reveel'd. And it was awesome to speak with you today. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. And I definitely do have a web series in the works right now. So be on the lookout for that, and we can maybe try to work something out.
Amazing. Well, I'm going to end the broadcast, and you can tell me about that off the record. So, all right. Great to chat.